Welcome back, everyone. Today we are taking a deep dive
A deep dive.
into something pretty fascinating.
Yeah,
It's Donald Trump's book, Crippled America.
this is a good one.
It was published back in 2015
Right in the thick of things.
during his initial presidential campaign.
Yeah, his first one.
And it really offers, I think, some insights
A lot of insights.
into kind of his thinking at the time
Absolutely.
and the anxieties that were gripping the nation.
Yeah, you can definitely get a feel for that.
Now, just to be super clear up front,
Yeah.
we're not here to endorse or critique
No.
any particular political stance.
All right.
We just want to take an objective look
Exactly.
at Trump's communication style
Mm-hmm.
and the ideas that really, fueled his rise.
Yeah, and what made it work?
So let's
jump in.
jump in.
Yeah.
Trump's core message, at least in this book,
Well, yeah, and the whole campaign, really.
is very clear. America is losing,
Mm-hmm.
and only HE can make it win again.
It's a powerful message.
It's a powerful message.
It,
And it's interesting
Yeah.
because he really applies,
like a business,
businessman's lens to everything,
absolutely to everything.
even international relations.
Totally.
Like, for example,
Yeah.
his advice when it comes to negotiations
Don't back down.
is basically don't make concessions.
Yeah, threaten, walk away.
Threaten to walk away.
And if you have to, actually walk away.
Exactly. And he even uses this analogy
A lot. Yeah.
when he's talking about, something like the Iran nuclear deal,
Oh, yeah. He was not a fan.
which was a major point of contention at the time.
Huge.
He says, we make concession after concession.
Yeah.
That's not winning. If I ran my business that way,
Oh, I love this part.
I'd fire myself.
Classic Trump.
That's pure Trump.
So bold, so decisive. Like
Yeah.
any compromise is a weakness, you know?
And it's this winner-take-all mentality that really seems to resonate
Oh, yeah.
with people who feel like America
They're getting the short end of the stick.
have been taken advantage of
Yeah, exactly.
on the world stage.
Mm-hmm.
He uses all sorts of examples, too,
Oh, tons.
like refugee policies, the handling of ISIS,
big issues back then.
to kind of illustrate this losing streak
Right.
that he believes America is on.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think is particularly interesting
Oh, they're all interesting, but.
is his relationship with the media.
Oh, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, it's this,
It's a love-hate
to
relationship.
say the least, yeah.
He blasts them
Oh, yeah.
for what he sees as dishonesty
Mm-hmm.
and a focus on gotcha moments
Oh, he hates that.
rather than informing the public.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Yeah.
he acknowledges their power.
He knows?
And he says it in a very blunt way.
Yeah, lay it on us.
I have a mutually profitable,
Oh, here we go.
two-way relationship with the media.
Mhm.
We give each other what we need.
So frank.
Yeah.
He
Was
knows
a
how the media works
completely.
and how they shape public opinion.
For sure.
And he even,
What's gonna say?
attributes the record-breaking viewership
Oh, of the debates.
on the Republican debates
Yeah.
to his presence,
Of course he does.
saying that it was his willingness to tell it like it is
That's his brand.
that captivated audiences.
Totally.
He understands spectacle,
Oh, absolutely.
and he understands
Uh-huh.
the media's hunger for it.
They can't get enough.
He even tells this story
Oh, yeah. What is it?
about getting a call during a campaign rally
No way.
from the CEO of Macy's,
Oh, wow.
Terry Lundgren,
Yeah.
who was worried
How
about
did-
some of Trump's controversial comments
On.
on immigration.
Right.
And Trump, he's already on stage,
He can't stop now.
and he chooses not to take the call.
The show must go on.
It's like he's saying the show must go on.
Yeah.
And he's the main attraction.
He is.
And speaking of controversy, his stance on immigration
Yeah.
and border security
That's where things get really interesting.
is where things get really heated.
Heated, yeah.
I mean, he uses some very strong language, claiming that Mexico
Oh, yeah.
is sending its worst people
He doesn't hold back.
across the border.
Nope.
And, that really resonates
It does.
with a certain segment of the population
Yeah.
who have this deep-seated fear
Mm-hmm.
about losing control
Yeah.
of the nation's identity
And security.
and security.
Yeah.
And his proposed solutions
Oh, yeah, he's got ideas.
are equally bold.
Lay him on us.
Building a wall,
Big one.
ending birthright citizenship,
Wow.
cutting federal grants to
It's-
sanctuary cities,
You got.
enforcing visa regulations.
Yeah.
He even cites
Oh, this is a good one.
the Mariel boat lift
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
as a cautionary tale
Right.
about the dangers of
Yeah.
open borders.
Interesting example.
And it's a tactic
Very much so.
that really plays on
Existing
anxieties
right? Yeah.
and offers what seems like a very
Straightforward thought,
simple,
but controversial.
if controversial solution.
Yeah.
And whether you agree with his stance or not,
Right.
it's clear that he knows how to
Push buttons.
tap into these emotional undercurrents.
Totally.
And then you have his foreign policy,
Okay.
which he sums up as
This is a good one, team.
speak loudly and carry a big stick,
I love it.
which is his own twist
Yeah.
on Teddy Roosevelt's famous quote.
Right, right.
And he really believes in projecting strength,
Strengths, yeah.
both militarily and economically.
Mm-hmm.
He criticizes, U.S. involvement in the Middle East,
Yeah, that was a big one.
arguing that allies
They need to
should contribute more
contribute more, yeah.
to their own defense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a message
It is
that
it.
appeals to
A lot of folks.
those who feel like America
We've done too much.
has overextended itself
Yeah.
on the world stage.
For sure.
He even uses this boxing analogy,
Oh, I love his analogies.
comparing America's foreign policy to
Yeah.
Mike Tyson's approach.
Let's hear it.
And he says, everybody has a plan
Until.
until they get punched in the mouth.
Uh-huh. There it is.
Essentially, he's saying,
Be ready.
be prepared to use force
When necessary.
when necessary.
Yeah.
And he's very adamant
About.
about strategic ambiguity,
Oh, yeah. Keep him guessing.
keeping adversaries guessing
Mm-hmm.
about America's intentions.
Right.
He says, tipping your hand is one of the dumbest mistakes
Ooh.
you can make in a military confrontation.
Got to keep that element of surprise.
It's that business mentality again,
Applied to global affairs.
applied to global affairs.
Yeah.
All about maintaining leverage
Mm-hmm.
and projecting
An image of strength.
an image of strength.
Got it.
And this strength theme
It comes up a lot.
extends to his views on education as well.
Interesting how that ties in.
Yeah, he's really critical of
What does he see as a
what he sees as a decline
decline?
in educational standards,
Mm-hmm.
and he blames it on
Like what?
dumbing down of the curriculum,
Yeah.
eliminating traditional grading
In some schools.
in some schools.
Yeah.
He's a big champion of
What's that?
school choice
Okay.
and charter schools.
Mm-hmm.
And he even cites research
From where?
from Stanford University's Center for Research on Education Outcomes.
Okay. Wow.
That reported positive results
From.
from these alternatives,
Okay.
particularly in urban areas.
Interesting.
He's essentially advocating for
Nice shake up.
disrupting the status quo,
Mm-hmm.
which is a theme
Yeah, you see that
we see throughout the book.
throughout the whole thing.
He's also very vocal
I'm sorry.
about his,
Failure.
stance on teacher unions,
Mm-hmm.
arguing that they obstruct educational reform
They get in the way.
and should be replaced with
Merit-based pay.
merit-based pay for teachers.
So you're rewarded.
Right. It's this idea of
Yeah.
rewarding individual performance,
Performance. Mm-hmm.
which comes
What
up again
again?
and again.
Is another recurring theme
Yeah.
in his thinking.
Interesting.
Now let's talk about his views on
What's next?
energy and climate change,
Oh, boy.
which, like many of his stances,
Yeah,
are sure to generate some debate.
for sure.
He is a staunch advocate for
Oh, sure.
American energy independence,
Yeah.
and he's really pushing for
Increased. Yeah.
increased drilling for oil and natural gas.
Mm-hmm.
And he even shares this anecdote
Okay.
about his opposition to a wind farm project
Yeah.
in Scotland,
Scotland. Wow.
claiming that it would be an eyesore
Oh.
and that wind power is not economically viable.
Okay.
And when it comes to climate change,
Hmm?
he expresses skepticism.
Skepticism about man-made causes.
Mm-hmm.
And he even points to the shifting terminology
From what to what?
from global warming to climate change
Like,
as evidence that scientists
don't really know?
are uncertain about the causes.
Interesting.
And this really appeals to
Certain segment.
a segment of the population
Mm-hmm.
who are distrustful of scientific consensus.
Okay.
And they see environmental regulations
As what?
as a burden on business.
Okay.
He's very clearly prioritizing
Economic growth.
economic growth
Mm-hmm.
and American dominance in the energy sector
Gotcha.
over environmental concerns.
Okay.
Now, let's shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and talk about
Obamacare.
his critique of Obamacare,
Yeah.
which he calls
A what?
an outright disaster.
Strong words.
Strong words.
Mm-hmm.
And he really focuses on
Definitely.
the rising costs
Mm-hmm.
and the law's complexity,
Yeah.
arguing that it burdens businesses and individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And he even claims
Mm-hmm.
that it was passed based on lies
Lies, a bet.
about people being able to keep their doctors.
Oh, yeah.
And their plans.
That was a big talking point.
And it's a powerful message.
It is.
For those who are struggling with
those rising
healthcare costs and feel misled by the promises of the Affordable Care Act.
Right.
And he really champions
free market
solutions.
Solutions, yeah.
Promoting competition among insurance companies and patient choice. He sees government involvement in healthcare as overreach and interference with the free market.
Gotcha.
Which really aligns with his overall philosophy of limited government and individual responsibility.
Individual responsibility, yeah.
Now, he does acknowledge that there's a need to help
who can't.
Those who can't afford health care.
Afford it, right?
But he believes that solutions should be found in the private sector.
Good.
Rather than through
government programs,
which again
reinforces
his distrust of government intervention and his belief in the power
the free market
to solve societal problems.
Yeah.
So moving on to his economic plan, which centers on 3 main pillars.
Hit me.
Tax cuts, deregulation, and renegotiating trade deals.
The big 3.
And his top priority is job creation. He wants to revitalize
American
manufacturing and make the country more competitive globally.
Okay.
And he is very critical of China's trade practices, arguing that they are unfair and have cost American jobs. And he even talks about his own experiences.
Manufacturing in China.
Manufacturing products in China. It's interesting.
Highlighting lower labor costs.
Yeah.
And fewer regulations
as
factors that incentivize companies to move production overseas.
Yeah.
And it's this firsthand experience that lends credibility to his claims and resonates with voters who feel like the system is rigged against them. He believes that by renegotiating trade deals and bringing manufacturing back to the U.S., we'll create more jobs and boost the American economy. Now,
tax reform.
Let's delve into his ideas on tax reform and government spending. He advocates for a simplified tax plan. With fewer deductions. And lower rates. Arguing that this will stimulate
economic
growth and make it easier for businesses to thrive.
He also emphasizes the need to reduce
government
waste, drawing parallels to his own business experience, where he claims to have a knack for identifying and eliminating inefficiencies. But he is very firm that he won't touch
Social Security,
Medicare, and Medicare benefits. Claiming that these programs are essential for seniors. And this is a very strategic move to appeal to older voters who rely on these programs and might be wary
of cuts.
Right. Now, weaving through all of these issues is this constant refrain that America needs.
A strong leader.
Someone who can get things done. And he portrays himself as the quintessential outsider. A successful businessman capable of disrupting the status quo.
In Washington.
And he argues that
his
business acumen uniquely qualifies him to lead the country effectively. He even delves into
his personal
life a little bit. Highlighting
his
father's influence on his work ethic. And his drive
to succeed.
And he tells the story about how his father gave him a small loan to get started in business, which he paid back
with interest. And it's this classic
American dream
narrative that resonates with those who admire self-reliance. And hard work. And he also emphasizes
financial
independence.
Claiming that he's not beholden to special interests. Or lobbyists. And he repeatedly points to his wealth as proof of his success and his ability to make smart decisions.
Smart decisions, yeah.
It's as if he's saying...
What's he saying?
Look, I've achieved the American dream. Now I'm going to help you achieve yours.
Powerful stuff.
And it's a powerful message.
It is.
Especially for those who feel like
the system
is rigged against them. And they need someone who's not part of the establishment. To fight for them. And throughout the book, he's really championing the American dream.
Right.
But he's also acknowledging
that
it's slipping away. For many people. And he argues that America needs to rediscover its greatness.
Its
strength. Its winning spirit.
That winning spirit.
And he positions himself as the leader.
Who can bring that back? Make America great again.
The one who can make America great again.
Classic. It's potent stuff.
And he definitely doesn't shy away from hot-button issues. And his stance on the Second Amendment
that's a big one.
Is a prime example.
For sure.
He dedicates a whole chapter to defending the right to bear arms. And he frames it as a cornerstone of American freedom.
Right. Going way back.
And he goes even further than many politicians.
Okay.
Invoking the Founding Fathers.
Oh, yeah.
And their vision of a nation where citizens could protect themselves
from
tyranny. And he argues that
any attempt
to restrict gun ownership is not only ineffective, but also infringes upon
this fundamental right.
And he throws out some pretty bold proposals.
What?
Like a national concealed carry reciprocity law.
Oh.
And he uses this analogy of driver's licenses being recognized across state lines, arguing
that if we can do it for driving,
which is a privilege,
yeah,
we should certainly be able to do it for carrying a concealed weapon, which he sees as a right.
Right. And
so it's a very clever way to frame the issue.
Yeah.
Appealing to it.
It's a fairness.
A sense of fairness and consistency.
Yeah.
It's essentially saying...
What's he saying?
You know, if we can trust people... To drive responsibly across state lines, why can't we trust them?
To carry a gun.
To carry a gun responsibly.
Makes you think.
It's a conversation starter, for sure.
It is.
And it really plays into his broader theme of... empowering individuals and reducing government overreach. He also ties the Second Amendment debate into his call for a tougher stance on crime.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly in inner cities. And he blames lenient sentencing guidelines and pressure on police departments for contributing to what he sees as
a growing
crime problem. He advocates for a return to
law and order,
which is a phrase that evokes
a sense of
stability
and security, especially for those who feel like
crime is out of control.
Crime is spiraling out of control.
Yeah.
And he even proposes this program
called
Project Exile.
Project Exile, okay.
Which focuses on aggressively prosecuting criminals who use guns in crimes. The idea is to create a strong deterrent.
Yeah.
By making the consequences for gun violence
swift
and severe.
Severe, yeah. And he cites Project Exile's success in reducing gun violence.
Where?
In Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
As evidence
that it works.
That this approach works. He's essentially saying, if we want to make our streets safer,
we need to
send a clear message that gun crime will not be tolerated.
Right?
And it's a message that really resonates with those who feel like the criminal justice system is too lenient.
Yeah.
And that criminals aren't being held accountable.
For their actions.
Right. He does touch on mental health.
He does.
As a factor in crime.
Okay.
But he's very wary of...
Any measures that
would restrict
gun
ownership for law-abiding citizens.
Okay.
And he criticizes
the media
for what he sees as
a knee-jerk
reaction to blame guns
rather than
the individuals who commit the crimes.
So he's appealing to this sense of frustration with what some see as
A biased
media narrative
that focuses on
gun control
rather
than addressing
the root causes.
The root causes of crime.
Yeah.
And this theme of challenging conventional wisdom and offering practical solutions
Carries over
into his discussion of infrastructure.
Infrastructure, huh?
Which might not seem like
What's exciting?
the most exciting topic.
Yeah.
But he manages to
Make it relevant
to his overall message.
Okay.
He paints this very grim picture of America's infrastructure.
Yeah.
You know, highlighting crumbling roads, bridges, airports.
Yeah.
He throws out statistics about structurally deficient bridges,
Right.
traffic congestion, transportation delays.
Yeah, we've all experienced that.
And he argues that this
our failing infrastructure is costing us billions of dollars in lost productivity.
Wow.
And making us less competitive.
Globally. Yeah.
He compares the need for massive investment in infrastructure to the New Deal era.
Okay.
A time when the government really took on large-scale projects, the economy,
and create jobs. Right.
And of course,
he emphasizes his experience.
He emphasizes his own experience.
As a builder. Of course.
Claiming that he's the right person to
lead this charge.
And he contrasts himself with career politicians who he says, just talk about problems.
But don't actually
get anything done.
Not anything done, right?
And he even shares this anecdote about a young man
who asked him about
sending humans to Mars.
Oh, wow.
And Trump's response is,
what did he say?
We should focus on fixing our own planet first.
Haha, classic Trump.
Down to earth. Bringing it back down to earth.
Yeah.
Focusing on practical solutions to immediate problems rather than
pie in the
sky ideas. And it really plays into his image.
As a pragmatist.
Who's more concerned
with
tangible results than grand visions.
Grand visions, yeah.
And that pragmatism, that focus on
getting things
done is really the thread.
That runs through
the entire book.
Yeah.
It's the foundation
of his argument.
That he's the right person
to lead America. Yeah.
And he constantly emphasizes
his business
acumen.
Highlighting his successful deals, right?
His ability to negotiate
tough
situations,
yeah.
And his willingness to make difficult decisions. And he even delves into
his family
background,
right?
Particularly his father's influence. He describes his father as
a demanding
but fair businessman.
Ooh.
Who instilled in him
a
strong work ethic. And this unwavering drive to succeed. And he shares a story about how his father
a small loan
to get started
in business, which he paid back
with
interest, right?
It's that classic American dream narrative
that resonates with so many
people.
Yeah.
And he also stresses his
financial independence,
claiming that he's not beholden to special interests or lobbyists. And he repeatedly points to his wealth as proof of his success
and his ability
to make smart decisions. It's as if he's saying,
okay,
I've already achieved the American dream. Now I'm going to help you achieve yours.
Powerful stuff.
And that's a powerful message.
It is.
Especially for those who feel like
the system is rigged.
Against them.
And they need someone.
Who's not part of the establishment.
I can fight for
them. Yeah. And throughout the book, he champions
the American dream.
But he also acknowledges that it's slipping away for many people. He argues that America needs to rediscover its greatness.
Its greatness.
Its strength.
Its winning.
Its winning spirit.
Sure, yeah.
And he positions himself
as the
leader who can
bring that back.
Make
America great again.
The one who can make America great again.
Yeah.
And in the final part of our deep dive,
okay,
we'll explore some of the key takeaways from Crippled America.
Right.
And consider its broader implications for the political landscape.
That's good.
So stick with us.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in our deep dive into Crippled America.
Oh, it's quite
from his, fiery rhetoric on immigration to his bold pronouncements on foreign policy.
Yeah.
And that wavering belief in American strength.
Right.
It's been quite a journey.
It has.
And I think
what's remarkable is
it's remarkable how this book really serves as
a blueprint.
For his campaign.
Yeah.
And even foreshadows
a lot of
many of the themes that defined his presidency.
His presidency, yeah.
But beyond the specific policies, what really strikes me is how effectively he communicates.
He communicates his ideas.
Yeah.
This isn't your typical dry political treatise.
Right.
It's raw, unfiltered, and undeniably engaging.
Yeah.
His writing style mirrors his speaking style.
Yeah.
Direct,
conversational,
punctuated
with bold claims
and pronouncements.
He doesn't shy away from
controversy,
and he certainly doesn't
mince words.
No.
He's not afraid to
call out,
point fingers, challenge conventional wisdom. It's this tell it like it is approach that really resonated
with voters
who were tired of political correctness and felt like their concerns were being ignored by establishment. He positions himself as
the anti-politician,
the
outsider who can cut through the red tape
and get things
done.
Right.
And he even boasts about not being
a smooth talker.
Yeah. He says, "I am a businessman, not a polished orator." And yet
his words
clearly resonated with millions of Americans.
We did.
He tapped into this deep well of frustration and anxiety, a sense that America was losing its way.
Yeah.
And he offered
a
simple, powerful solution.
Make America great again.
Powerful. And it's not just about identifying problems. He offers solutions.
Even if
they're controversial.
Or unconventional.
Whether it's building a wall, renegotiating trade deals, or taking a hard line on crime.
Right.
He presents himself as a man of action.
Someone
who can get things
done.
Yeah.
And he uses his business career as a constant reference point.
Right.
Highlighting his deal-making skills. His ability to overcome obstacles and his willingness
to take risks.
Yeah. And he even addresses his critics.
Head on.
Yeah. Accusing them of being
dishonest,
out of touch.
Yeah.
More interested in maintaining the status quo than solving real problems.
It's
a classic us versus them approach.
It is.
Which is a common tactic in populist movements that aims to rally support by drawing a clear line between those who are in
and those who are
out.
Yeah.
And he's not afraid to use humor. Often at the expense of his opponents to connect with his audience.
Yeah.
And create a sense of
camaraderie.
Right. It's a style that's often described as
brash,
confrontational, even entertaining.
Yeah.
But it's undeniably effective.
He breaks
the traditional rules
of political discourse.
And in doing so,
he captures
the
attention of millions of Americans.
Millions. What does this all tell us? I think Crippled America
reveals a lot about the American psyche in 2015.
Yeah.
There was clearly
widespread
anxiety, this feeling that America was losing its place
in the world.
Both economically and politically. People were worried about jobs going overseas, the rise of terrorism, and this perceived decline in American influence.
And tapped into that anxiety masterfully.
Right?
He offered a message of hope and this promise to restore American greatness. He also exposed this deep distrust of the media, a skepticism of traditional politicians, and a yearning for a leader who would shake things up and America first.
He gave a voice
to a segment of the population that felt ignored marginalized and left behind by the political establishment.
That's right.
And Crippled America
served
as both a diagnosis of the nation's ills and a prescription for how to cure them, at least from Trump's perspective.
Yeah.
So
as you reflect
on this book
and its impact,
here's a final thought-provoking question.
Okay.
What does Trump's communication style and his focus on winning reveal about the hopes and fears
of the American public? At that time. That's a question.
It's a question worth pondering as you continue to explore this pivotal moment
in American
history. And hey, maybe you'll even be inspired to
check it out.
Check out Crippled America yourself.
Yeah.
And see what insights you glean from it.
Yeah.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time.